Good morning, all my sweet friends, pals, and confidants. It is Monday morning, and I know I haven't been with you in a week, and I'm sorry. I fully intended to do videos while I was in Destin, but once I got there, I really wanted to focus on my son and my grandson, and that's what I did. And I'm sorry to you, but you have me all this week. I had a wonderful trip. I got to see my grandson hit balls and steal bases and make it home once or twice, I think. Watched 2 of his baseball games. He now is as tall as I am. As tall as I am. He's only 13. I don't know how tall he's going to be. My son, his daddy is 5'11", and my daughter-in-law, his mama, I'm not sure how tall Whitney is, but she's tall. She's a tall girl. So chances are Jake's going to be very tall. He's not the tallest kid on his team. He's probably, I think there are probably 2 kids taller than him, and one's a scrawny little guy, but he's tall, and the other one is Bubba. Wouldn't want to mess with him in a dark alley. Actually, he's a very sweet boy, but he's a big guy. Ain't nobody gonna be messing with him. And Jacob is, to me, he just looks normal, but he is taller than the rest of the kids on his team. Now, I don't know what their ages are. He said that he maxes out this year. He will not be playing Little League next year. He'll be too old. So we'll see. When I posted on my Facebook picture from a few years ago of him and I, and then the other night I recreated that photo. A little bit of a difference, because in that photo he was much shorter than I was, and I weighed 200 more pounds than I do today. 200 more, not 200, 200 more. I weighed 300 pounds, yes, I did. And so I got those 2 pictures, and I loved seeing the difference, not just in me and my weight loss, but in him. He's now the same height I am. Crazy, just crazy. So I did have a wonderful week visiting with them. Unfortunately, the one thing that I have been dreading for years, my son Michael has epilepsy. And I have never been around him when he had a seizure. And I've always been kind of grateful for that, because even though I'm a nurse, he's my son. He's my child. That being said, he did have a seizure the last night. Luckily, Jacob had already gone back to his mom, or he'd have been right there and seen it too. And he has seen his dad have a seizure. Ugh. But I surprised myself. I didn't exactly go into nurse mode, like timing it and making sure he was on. There were certain things I did. I made sure he was on his side, made sure there was that he wasn't hitting his head on the headboard. And I crawled into bed with him and I just held him. That's all I could think of to do, was to try to comfort him. And maybe it was to comfort myself, but that's what I did, and it didn't freak me out like I thought it would. I really, really thought that it would freak me out bad, and it didn't. It took me several hours to go back to sleep, because I just kept listening to him, making sure he was breathing normally. That was the nurse in me, I think. Anyway, that happened. But other than that, we had a really good week. Moses went with me, and Elijah, my other grandson, Jacob kept calling him, what was he calling him? I can't remember. He didn't call him Moses, but they loved each other, absolutely loved each other. Moses was jumping all over Jake, and Jake was loving every minute of it. And even Michael liked Moses. So that part was good too. So it's not a beautiful day here in St. Augustine. It's overcast, it's windy. It did rain a little bit this morning. I see a weed I need to pull. But it's just kind of a yucky day. I do go to the Women's Center this afternoon to volunteer. And I don't hear the washer, it must have stopped. I gotta put the clothes in the dryer. The weather it said overcast, and it didn't call for any rain, but we have had rain. We had rain this morning. Light, very light sprinkle of rain, but we had some rain. The low today is 69 with a high of 75, and it's 76. Wait, high of 75? How could it be high of 75 and it's 76 right now? That makes no sense, does it? Anyways, that's what I wrote down. So, I'm also, Saturday, I did a thing. I did a thing for old people because I'm not getting any younger. My husband loves to ride his bike. I don't love riding a bike. It hurts my butt. The pedaling and the moving up and down. You know how your butt does? Well, my butt gets sore. And especially now since I don't really have one. So I bought an e-bike tricycle, an e-tricycle. So I'm excited. I unboxed it this morning. And if I have time, I'll do some putting it together. I got to watch the video again. I'm putting it together. But my husband wants to help me, but I really want to do it myself. You know, you take pride in doing things yourself sometimes, and I'm really good at putting things together. I mean, really good. I've done it all my life. So I really enjoy that. If I have time, I'll do that, but I do have to leave at 1 o'clock to go to the Women's Center. And I'll be there till 5:30. Yeah, so that's my plan for today. Tomorrow, I don't know what my plan is for tomorrow. I like to go to volunteer at my daughter's school on Tuesdays, but I really need a day off. I'm tired. And not a day off from the kids, from her school. I just need a day off from life. I guess I'm just tired. I just need a day of rest. Yesterday wasn't a day of rest. We got up, I got up really early. I got up at 5 o'clock. I baked 2 loaves of banana bread. Delicious. I gave one to my grandson that had a birthday, and he is deploying in a couple of weeks to go to Africa. Pray for my grandson Elijah. Somalia is one of the places. He mentioned a couple of not safe places. And he was there several years ago, and I asked him, I said, were you ever in danger? He goes, well, yeah, there was a war. And I said, no, I meant you. Did you personally ever feel endangered? And he said, yes. I said, I don't want to hear anymore. I shouldn't have asked. And he's like, well, you asked. And I said, I know. I was really hoping you'd say no. So pray for my grandson, Elijah. He's an air traffic controller in the Army. He's part of the National Guard, so he just does, the weekends and then the deployment every couple of years. And this year is his time for the deployment, so he's going to Africa. He's not really sure what they're going to be doing there. Whether they're going to be building an airstrip, he doesn't know yet. So, pray for Elijah. Okay, so we started last week, I think it was Monday. I don't remember if I did one Tuesday before I left, but we started talking about Job, and I read to you the first chapter in Job, and hold on a second. I'm OCD. If I don't write things down while I'm doing it, I'll forget. And I have to write it down. That's the OCD in it. Sorry. I keep getting these pop-ups. So Job, and it made me think about surprises. Do you like surprises? I love surprises, but I should have been a PI because I'm never surprised. I always figure things out. It's like, putting this bike together. I'll do it because to me, things like that are easy. My brain works in a way that I can easily figure things out. So I'm never surprised. One surprise that I am looking forward to. And I think it will be a surprise because I've surprised myself at times of how, washer's done, how I've reacted to things. Like when I went to Paris for my 50th birthday, I went with some girlfriends. Hey girls, if any of y'all are watching. We went to Paris and I surprised myself at my reaction when we were coming from the airport to our hotel and I saw the Eiffel Tower for the first time. I just started crying. I did not expect that. I didn't expect to be so emotional just seeing a piece of metal. That's really all it is, just a big gigantic piece of metal. And I got very emotional. There were several times during that week that I got emotional. Riding around on the, the tour bus, the hop on and off tour bus. If you go to Paris and you don't hire a private tour guide or you're not on a tour, get on those tour buses because you sit on them and you pick up the headphones and there's numbers and it'll tell you each number is a language. There's Spanish and French and English and Portuguese and Italian. There's all these different languages that you could choose. So of course I chose English and I listened, and everywhere that we went, it would tell you about things that you were passing by. And of course they had that jump on, jump off. But I remember I would never have known where the Bastille was if I hadn't been told on these headphones. The bricks on this bridge came from the Bastille. And I was like, oh, wow. The Bastille was torn down during the French Revolution when Marie Antoinette. So it was very interesting. I loved it. But surprise, yes, I was surprised. Oh, I was surprised at my reaction about the buildings. I would see the buildings with the bullet holes from one of the world wars, World War II, I think. And I was thinking about my great-grandfather, Louis Perrault. He was born and raised in Paris. And I was thinking, I wonder if he walked these streets. I wonder if he touched this building. All these thoughts. And I got emotional again. I got emotional when we went to Sacré-Cœur, the beautiful white marble church up on the top of the hill, Montmartre. And I got emotional. I actually started crying because the nuns were practicing choir practice. They sounded like angels. They really, truly sounded like angels. And to me, sitting there, it felt like that day was my birthday, my 50th birthday. I felt like the angels were singing to me on my birthday. It just felt so incredibly special. And of course, I teared up for that. So, very few times have I ever been surprised. My mother tried to give me a surprise baby shower that I completely figured out. Like in the first time she told me I needed to clean my house. My house was clean. My house is always clean. She told me I needed to clean my house before Saturday, because she was coming over and bringing a friend on Saturday. And I'm like, I guess that's when I'm having my baby shower. I guess it's going to be in my own house. It was, no surprise. I think it was my 40th birthday. Yeah, my 40th birthday, my husband tried to give me a surprise party. I figured that one out. It's not like I'm trying. It's just people say things, and rather than it just going over my head, I'm like, wonder why they said that. And, you connect the dots. It's like, okay. And I had asked him for a party for my 40th birthday. Anyway. So, do you think Job was surprised at all the things that happened? In the first chapter, we saw that God allowed Satan to do what he wanted. He said, just don't touch Job himself. You can touch everything else. So Satan took everything, took all his children, took all his livestock, all his servants, everybody. There was like 4 or 5 servants that survived. And what did he say at the end of chapter 1? He said, I came into my mother's womb. I came naked from my mother's womb. I will be naked when I leave. The Lord gave me what I had, and the Lord has taken it away. Praise the name of the Lord. So was he surprised? I'm sure he was. Did it change the way he felt about the Lord? No way. When we get to heaven, I know, because the way I reacted to the Eiffel Tower. I've seen the pictures of the Eiffel Tower. I knew what I was going to see, but when I saw it, it was different. I know what to expect when I get to heaven. Actually, I don't, because none of us do. It's going to be more than we can even imagine. And so that alone, is it a surprise when you know it's going to be beyond your dreams? I think maybe, yeah, it might be. Isn't it cool to think about what heaven's going to be like? Well, let me read this a little bit, because we're already 17 minutes into this video and I haven't even started on my Bible reading. So I'm going to read to you Job chapter 2. And it's titled Job's Second Test. Did he need another test? Oh! One day the members of the heavenly court came again to present themselves before the Lord. And the accuser, Satan, came with them. Where have you come from? The Lord asked Satan. Satan answered the Lord, I have been patrolling the earth, watching everything that's going on. Then the Lord asked Satan, have you noticed my servant Job? Why did God do that? I wish he hadn't done that. He had his reasons. He is the finest man in all the earth. He is blameless, a man of complete integrity. He fears God and stays away from evil, and he has maintained his integrity, even though you urged me to harm him without cause. Satan replied to the Lord, skin for skin. A man will give up everything he has to save his life, but reach out and take away his health, and he will surely curse you to his face. All right, God, do with him as you please, the Lord said to Satan, but spare his life. So Satan left the Lord's presence, and he struck Job with terrible boils, head to foot. Now, you know boils are extremely painful. Job scraped his skin with a piece of broken pottery and sat among the ashes. His wife said to him, are you still trying to maintain your integrity? Curse God and die. But Job replied, you talk like a foolish woman. Should we accept only good things from the hand of God and never anything bad? So in all this, Job said nothing wrong. When 3 of Job's friends heard of the tragedy he had suffered, they got together and traveled from their homes to comfort and console him. Their names were Eliphaz the Temanite, Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Namathite. Don't you just love these words? When they saw Job from a distance, they scarcely recognized him. Wailing loudly, they tore their robes and threw dust into the, a little overdramatic, don't you think? Threw dust into the air over their heads and to show their grief. Then they sat on the ground with him for 7 days and nights. No one said a word to Job. and they saw that his suffering was too great for words. Too great for words. Tomorrow we'll read Job chapter 3. And you will be surprised. Maybe not. But tomorrow we'll find out Job's reaction to my mind is not working this morning. Job's reaction to his friends, and what they had to say about what he was going through. They kind of blamed him. What'd you do? What'd you do that prompted God to do this to you? Stick to your guns. Stay close to the Lord. I love y'all. Bye.